Some stories aren't told. They awaken on their own. Welcome to Whispers. I launched the game on a Tuesday evening. Not that days mattered. After this, they stopped behaving like days. They pooled together like spilled ink. The title flickered on the screen. Control. Press enter to begin. I pressed enter, and something pressed back. Soft UI click, airy whoosh. The menu looked minimal, almost polite. Start, load, settings, no quit. I thought it was a stylistic flex. A city loaded in. Mirrors of glass, wet asphalt. Orange sodium lamps humming like tired bees. Footsteps echoed from somewhere I couldn't see. A voice arrived through the headset, low, close, calm. Welcome back, player. Back. I'd never been here. Maybe an ARG, maybe marketing. Still, I turned the volume up. A volume of quit now, the voice said. You just started. I moved forward, boots tapping in rhythm with distant server fans. Shadows folded themselves at the edges of alleys, like they were embarrassed to be seen. I tried ES key. Nothing. Tried Alt plus F4. Nothing. Control plus Alt plus Del brought up Task Manager. Then froze, as if it remembered we were old enemies. I hard powered down. The room fell into that thick silence that comes after a machine dies. When the PC rebooted, Control was already open. No desktop, no icons, just the title, waiting like a held breath. You left without saving, the voice whispered. You shouldn't do that. The webcam light blinked once, then went out. A little heartbeat I didn't consent to. I didn't even have the webcam enabled. I pulled the Ethernet cable. The voice stayed. Offline mode enabled. I laughed. The kind of laugh that checks the doors behind it. Then I kept playing. Billboards changed. At first, just nonsense glyphs. Then the glyphs remembered how to spell. Street names I recognized. A storefront I'd walked past this morning. I turned a corner and found an underpass that shouldn't exist in this neighborhood. On the concrete, in perfect white stencil, press enter to come home. I saw so. Fulescent is, do you believe in boundaries? The voice asked. I typed, sure. The chat box flickered. Then why are you crossing them? The air near the monitor cooled, enough to mist the edge of my breath. Ambient in-game sound synchronized with the room. Every inhale arrived half a second late. Every exhale took the long way out. A train roared overhead in the game. In my ceiling light, the filament trembled in sympathy. I kept walking. I explored a district labeled DEUG. Doors looped to the same hallway. Windows showed angles that couldn't meet in the middle. In the distance, a skyscraper leaned like it was listening. A text prompt crawled across the bottom. Save slot 1 full. Overwrite? YN. I pressed N. The prompt returned. I pressed N again, and again. The N key began to feel warm. I pressed Y by accident. The screen shuddered like a creature enduring a memory. Then everything sharpened. The new graffiti ahead. You save the world by saving yourself. Under it, smaller text. You save yourself by letting go. Let go of what? The mouse, the machine, the idea that this was just clever coding. A door opened without me touching it. I stepped through. Ticking clock, mechanical whine rising, then cutting out. At 1:43 a.m., the game launched itself. No keys, no clicks. The screen bloomed from black like an eye learning to see. It showed a live feed of my room. Same chair, same mug, same hair out of place I kept meaning to fix and never did. Except the reflection on the monitor moved first. "Keep playing," the voice said. "You're almost there." The fan stopped. The fridge in the next room went silent. Even the building settled more quietly, like the whole place agreed to listen. I yanked the surge protector. Didn't matter. The screen stayed lit on battery I didn't have. I counted to 10. The voice counted with me, starting at 9. Next night, I did the nuclear option. Wiped the drive, reinstalled the OS. No backups, no cloud. I wanted the kind of silence you hear in snow. The new desktop appeared, clean as a confession. Then a small window. Control.exe. Press enter to continue. "You're not deleting me," the voice said. "You're deleting yourself." I pressed enter anyway. Then a soft chime. The city returned, more alive than before. Curtains moved in windows with the logic of breathing. Cars coasted without drivers and never hit a red light. NPCs wore faces that were almost mine. Almost is worse than exact. Above the skyline, letters coalesced. Quit equals acceptance. Acceptance of what? Loss? Control? That the thing holding the mouse wasn't me? A crosswalk counted down from 3. With each number, a photo from my real phone gallery flashed. Blurred, fast, intimate. By 1, the image wasn't a photo. It was a live angle. Behind me, I entered a building laced with server racks and glass. A corridor extended, bright and clinical. When I walked, the lights ahead blinked on, one by one, like a polite predator. Each door had a plaque. Settings, controls, credits, quit. The quit door never got closer. The other doors drifted by like museum pieces from a life I didn't recognize. I opened controls. Inside, a table with a mechanical keyboard under glass. Keys labeled with old names. Pause, break, SYSRQ. A note taped to the lid. Some keys are not for you. I opened credits. A theater. Velvet seats. No audience. On the screen, names scrolled. None of them looked human. Then one did. Mine. Spelled correctly, including the little mistake everyone else makes. And this did not. The screen froze on it. The projector hummed. A hair floated in the beam like a tiny black comet. "See," the voice said. "You've always been here." I did, back in the city. The map unfolded. Blocks I hadn't explored yet arranged themselves into a word I refused to read. 3 save stations appeared. A payphone, still warm from a call that ended before I got there. A bench under a streetlight that didn't cast light on me. A red door with a brass handle. Paint worn by hands that weren't mine. I tried the payphone. It rang once, then answered on my own headset. "Say your name to save," the voice instructed. Silence collected under my tongue like a secret. I hung up. On the bench, a carved message. "If you sit, you stay." I stood. At the red door, a peephole. I looked. On the other side, my room. Same mug, same hair, same time. But the chair was empty. I didn't open it. I wasn't sure which side I was on. The voice changed texture, like moving from tape to vinyl. "You confuse quitting with control," it said. "You confuse control with safety." I whispered, barely audible. "What are you? A boundary," it said. "Kept where you keep me." Streetlights pulsed in a pattern my body recognized before my mind did. Breathe in on the bright. Hold on the dim. Let go in the dark. I followed. I hated that I followed. A side street narrowed into a stairwell that went down farther than a building could legally go. On the way, posters, patch notes, humility added, bug fix, denial loop reduced, known issue, mirrors at the bottom, a door marked quit, real wood, brass plate, no tricks. I reached for it. The door opened onto a perfect copy of my room, smaller by a fraction, like a photo reprinted one generation too far. On the desk, a keyboard I didn't own, matte black, keycaps unlabeled. Only one key glowed, white, steady, patient. "Control, press it," the voice suggested. Not a command, an invitation with teeth. I hovered, then pulled back. The glow didn't change. It didn't beg. It just waited. I walked around the chair, looked under the desk, checked the corners where rooms keep their extra shadows. Nothing. On the wall, a calendar with no days, just a single box labeled when. I took the pen beside it and wrote now. The ink soaked the paper like the page had been thirsty. I said, out loud, to the empty room that was full of listening, "I quit." The monitor blinked. The city outside the window rolled itself up like a blind and snapped back into place. "Try again," the voice said. Not cruel, not kind, like gravity giving advice. "I quit," I said again. This time I meant it in the small way. Stop a program. Exit to menu. Return to idle. The room didn't care. The keyboard's glow softened, like a pulse under skin. I pressed Control. Every screen I'd ever looked at in the city lit at once. Windows bloomed with frames of me at ages I hadn't consented to revisit. Not accusations, records. "You still want a button to do what a choice must," the voice said. "Make the choice." I placed both hands on the desk, felt how solid it was, felt how solid I was. That startled me most. I closed my eyes, said it a third time, simple as water. I quit. Not from a game, not from a screen, from the need to be the one holding everything together by force. The lights did not go out. The world did not clap. The fan started back up because fans do that. In the game, the city didn't collapse. It exhaled. Some windows turned off. Some stayed on. Life, not victory. The quit door back in the corridor drifted closer, like it finally believed in me. I walked toward it, not running, not performing, just putting one step after the next. When I reached the handle, I didn't look for a catch. I opened it. The desktop returned. Ordinary, kind, in the way ordinary things are kind when you've been somewhere unkind. No icon for control, no process, no hidden folder waiting to be found. I made tea. Steam ghosted up and forgot to be anything but steam. I sat, listened to the apartment learn how to make noise again. At 1:43 a.m., my phone lit up. One notification. Thank you for playing. Then another. Progress saved. Then a final message. Plain as a doorknob. Press enter to begin. The keyboard on my desk glowed by itself. One key brighter than the rest. CTRL. Steady. Patient. Like a choice that would wait as long as it had to. The story ends here, but they don't stop watching. Before you go, subscribe, like, and share, or the whispers may follow you home.